The FIFA Football Manager champion has a new tactic. With Football Manager 2025 gone, we have a lot of time to actually play Football Manager, and in my case, also spend time watching some of the best players actually play the game on stream. And I stumbled on FIFA Football Manager World Champion Ishan Taufik in one of his streams, and I noticed he actually had a new tactic coming up that is different from the Miracle 1 tactic that you're used to. It was only for a brief moment, but I noticed he was playing a game against Manchester City and he was using Manchester United. I was able to take notes of some of the instructions and player roles that he was using, and I'll share some of it with you in this video. I recreated parts of the tactic in my Hertha Berlin save in the Bundesliga 2, and it didn't work out so well. But I think that is down to the default tactic and some of the player instructions that I might have missed. In fact, I didn't actually add any player instructions because I wasn't able to actually take a look at them and see what they were. But I did go on to make some tweaks to the tactic to help us get better results in the Bundesliga 2. But before we look at how to actually make the tactic better, let's look at the default tactic first. So here we've got the default tactic. We have a game coming up against FC Cologne in the Bundesliga 2, but looking at what Taufik actually had set up, he had a back four, flat 4-4-2 system like this with a lot of players that are actually on attack duty, and I think that is the first problem I had with the tactic, as I was not sure it was going to work for this Hertha Berlin save, but I had to just try anyway, and it somehow, to some extent, we had some good results, but some very, very bad ones, especially the 5-0 defeat against Fortuna Dusseldorf. I think that was in our second game after actually trying out the tactic. And if you look here, we have a super keeper on support duty, no internal player instructions, and for now I noticed I didn't add any player instructions to the players because I didn't have access to that. But what I did have were the player roles, and you can see we have both wing backs playing on support duty, which is unique, something you don't really see on meta tactics on Football Manager. But I noticed that wingbacks, and what I did notice in the game was that the wingbacks were quite expansive, so we only had two people protecting the defense, and that was not good enough. I saw a lot of goals. We conceded a lot of goals from through balls. That is what I noticed. So I'll show you how I went about fixing that. But now the one major issue I had with this tactic was a lot of players playing on attack duty and very few players playing on defend. In fact, the only one player that could help out the defense was a ball with the midfielder, and he's not the kind of player that actually stays in one position. I think we tried to get that with the deep line playmaker on support, or that's what Taufik was going for, having a holding midfielder that's actually playing passes for the other players in the team, which is what is understandable. But I think for me, what I did to actually help the tactic become a bit more solid was to move the fullbacks and ask them to, or to change the wing backs to fullbacks and then ask them to play on support duty. It sort of helped us out, but I didn't really want to touch the inverted wingers on attack duty, although as much as I think they're not helping at the defense, the fact that they're on attack duty, they're not helping at the defense very much. So that's another tweak that you can go ahead and make. And of course, the deep line forward, you can leave them on attack and then ask the pressing forward to play on support duty, or you can do the opposite and then ask the pressing forward to attack and then ask the deep line forward to play on support duty. Team instructions wise, I didn't really alter anything. I didn't really see the need to alter anything because I think it's good as it is, playing with an attacking mentality. If you look at the out of possession instructions, it's just a high press with a standard defensive line and much more often trigger press. And you also see prevent the shot goalkeeper distribution. You can see the get stuck in instructions. Everything is pretty overpowered, so step up more as well to actually encourage the team to get high into the opposition's faces. Not a high defensive line, which is something that surprised me, to be honest. If we look at the team's instruction in transition, counter press, counter, distribute the ball quickly, but this time rolling it out of the defense is what the goalkeeper is going to do. When they're in possession, there's a lot of action happening on the wings, so there's overlap on the left and on the right hand side, and you also have the fairly wide attacking width. There's also low crosses for this system and working the ball into the box while running at the opposition's defense, but just a standard passing directness, which is something I actually liked about the tactic because playing with shorter passing and slightly higher tempo is something that I feel is really, really meta in Football Manager, but I like the fact that I saw something different. Maybe that's also why the tactic is not super overpowered like that. So, but it's just something to look at, and this is the way I found it on stream. So this is the tactic that I saw Taufik using in his recent stream on Football Manager where he was managing Manchester United. Do let me know what tweaks you could possibly make to this tactic to actually make it better and what you think was going on here with this system. Do you like the roles? Let me know in the comment section what you think. And if I go ahead to find more interesting Football Manager tactics, I will share them with you. So do subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of those Football Manager tactic videos or any other Football Manager videos, to be honest. I did share one recently about an unbeatable tactic. I'm going to put a link in the description so you can actually go ahead and get that tactic and see how it works out for you. I'll see you in the next video.